Welcome back to Game On, and we move on to what's happening out in England. And Mark, we've spoken about Chelsea, the Club World Cup, stuttering start to the season. What a response in the away game against a struggling West Ham so far this season. But what a response from Chelsea with a 5-1 win.
Yeah, and I mean, in a London derby, it's always going to be very interesting. So the West Ham supporters, are some of the most vociferous that you find around. So it was always going to be an interesting one. But Chelsea responded beautifully in that match, and they showed exactly why they are going to be contenders this season, why they should be taken seriously. The match, against Crystal Palace was always going to be a tough one. Crystal Palace are, one of the form teams, winning even the FA Cup, and they showed their worth against Liverpool in the Charity Shield. So, nobody really faults Chelsea for that opening match. But in the second match against struggling West Ham, as you said, they really announced themselves and said, hey, don't forget us. We are the world champions, and we are here to be taken seriously.
Now, from world champions, let's talk to English champions. Visiting Liverpool already, or rather visiting Newcastle. Already a big talking point was Isak, whether he's going to leave Newcastle, go to Liverpool. He, of course, not involved in this match. But what drama we got served up in a match that had everything in it, including a new star, possibly a young 16-year-old, who plays just 1 minute of professional football. In that 1 minute, scores a winner, and he's now a household name.
Yeah, and that's the thing, though. That's what you have to love, and that's why we call it the beautiful game. And I always say, for me, football and sport in general is the only real reality TV. Because you couldn't script this even if you tried. And just the way that match played out, obviously Liverpool going 2-0 up, Newcastle getting a red card, still being able to come back to 2-2, and then the stage was set for a 16-year-old to
was supposed to waste time, actually. It was just waste time.
And then that's the thing, though, Liverpool are a team that want to win every game they play. So there's no time wasting with them. It was 2-0. I mean, it was 2-2, and they want to go for the result against 10 men. So I think Newcastle were holding on more than anything, but Rio just showed up on the far post, and the way he finished it with such maturity. Just, picking his spot, putting it in there, and the rest is history. So absolute great performance, and this is why we love the beautiful game.
Now, Rio Ngumoha of Nigerian descent joins the likes of James Milner, Cesc Fabregas, and Wayne Rooney as players that have scored as 16-year-olds out in England. So he's in great company indeed. Now, drama. Tottenham go off to City, and we love it. Early season drama. Tottenham walk away 2-0 winners. The world is shocked.
Yeah, I mean, after Man City put on a 4-0 performance in the first match, everyone was like, okay, Man City is back, Pep Guardiola is back. But then they were their own worst enemy against Tottenham. But you have to love what Thomas Frank has also done with this Tottenham team. They're very forward-thinking. They press high. They weren't afraid of City. They went there. I mean, even the way, they got that second goal off and they forced. You can say City made the mistake, but it's a forced error. It was contested. It's not like an error that came out of nowhere. Tottenham pressed for it, and they worked for it, and ultimately walking away with a 2-0 result at the Etihad. Massive compliment to Thomas Frank and Tottenham, and they also putting up their hands 2-2, and two very solid performances. Tottenham are also a team that we need to take seriously this season.
Well, now let's look at another side from London, Arsenal. Start off the season with what wasn't a pretty win, but an effective win against Manchester United. Still, question marks against Arsenal. Do they tick all the right boxes in their 5-0 hammering of Leeds United?
They absolutely did. We know what they're renowned for now. They've established themselves as lethal from set plays. Two of those goals were scored.
Which you mentioned.
Two of those goals,
yeah.
we've said, time and time again. Against Man United, it was a set play that got them the 1-0 result. So when they needed to grind out a result, it came from that set play. 5-0, two of them from corner kicks. They show, they not just about pretty football, they play really good football. But when it counts, when it matters, they can find a way to get a result. They didn't play well against Man United. Everyone's saying Man United probably the better team on the day, but that's the mark of a champion. When you don't play well and you still find a way to win, that's the mark of a champion. And Arsenal have shown themselves again even in just the 2 matches they've played thus far, that they will be championship contenders. 5-0 result. We spoke about 16 years old. There was a 15-year-old who came on in this match. Max Dowman comes on, wins a penalty for the last game. I would have loved to see him take the penalty because they were already 4-0 up. But obviously the new guy, Gyökeres, he needs to announce himself wearing a big number on his back, number 14. Obviously that Thierry Henry made famous. So he's got a lot to live up to. But this Arsenal team, they look like they are going to be a force this season.
They certainly do. Now, let's look at some upcoming fixtures. The game showing on SABC in a couple of hours' time is Man United, who haven't won in the league as yet. They've lost one. They've drawn one in the league. Also, out of the cup to a third-tier side midweek. It's not a great start to the season for a Man United side that plays Burnley. Burnley may look to go to the theatre of dreams and make it the theatre of nightmares for United fans.
And it certainly will be just that, because you can imagine the pressure that Amorim is under now, because the fact that they have only one, the 1 point to show for, and the reality is Burnley against Tottenham on opening day, they lost that game, but they put up a solid performance. And then they went on to win their second match against the newly promoted Sunderland as well. So Burnley, they're not going to back down. If ever there was a time to go to United and go and actually feel like you can win, now's that time. And so Burnley go into that match and will feel that we can get the better of Man United because they are vulnerable right now.
I'll tell you what, Liverpool must have looked at the opening few fixtures of the season and thought to themselves, the gods of football are against us here. First Newcastle, then they're at home to Arsenal, by the way.
I mean, that obviously is clearly the match of the weekend, and that's the match everyone is salivating over. I mean, Liverpool and Arsenal already, they both 2-2 in their opening games. For Liverpool, they'll be worried because both their opening games, they were leading 2-0. And, against Bournemouth as well. Bournemouth came back to 2-2. They ended up winning it, and so that shows again, even when things are not quite going their way, they're able to get the result. Chiesa coming up big in that match. And then obviously we saw the youngster getting the win for them against Newcastle. But ultimately, this match is set up, as already to show who's going to really be the front runner this season. So this match is really one that's going to be for the books.
Now, a few fixtures to talk about as well. Chelsea taking on Fulham is a one not to miss, whilst for City, they'll look to get back to winning ways when they take on Brighton. That's our look at the world of football out in Europe. When we come back, we have Jerry Skosana. We talk about the drama that's the world of football in the beautifully South African game. Stay with Game On.